4:35. My name is Don Wright. I'm the vice chair.
You got one.
I got
And,
one. Needs it.
Welcome all people who are here. Our first item of business is our draft minutes from January 11th. I hope you all had a chance to look at them.
Thank you. So are the documents supposed to be on here now?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I'm just saying there were some problems with this.
Do you need some help?
Move to another computer.
On the agenda, I go to the.
Oh, there we are. Okay, I've got it.
All right. Take a minute to look at those then.
But I can stick them in here. Yeah, I should do it.
Are there any additions, corrections?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the minutes.
I have a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Citizens' comments on issues and items not on the agenda. Not hearing any. We'll move on to our library director report.
Okay, well, first, let's look at the monthly report for January. I have a director's report for you, and then the monthly statistics. And we are, we're just kind of hanging in about the same level as last year, very, very close to the same level of last year. And that continues to be between 75 and 80% of what we did on the Hilltop. The mayor, in preparation for his annual State of the City address, requested some statistics of me, so I just went through these in detail last night. And the year before, I did like the year before we moved, and then I've done the 18 months and averaged out since we've moved. And we're right at like 77, 78% of what we did at the Hilltop, very, very consistently. So that's really good considering, you know, we only have like 20% of our collection. But, so that's where we are. And Library to Go is up. The ebook thing is very, very popular. We're doing a lot of that. We're doing a lot of the ebook appointments, which is very exciting. Don, I think you were the guy that got us most going on that, I'm sure. You were pivotal in all that.
But I understand we're going to lose our statistics now pretty soon.
We're going to lose our ability to see which statistics are individual to Oregon City and Library to Go, because apparently they can only parse it out so many ways, and
Yeah.
we're getting like we're starting a new platform that's all Clackamas County books, so that we can offer more books to our Clackamas County patrons. And so when we start that, it will lose our we'll be able to offer more titles, but we'll lose our statistics for each
Okay.
library. We're just going to have one lump sum, so that's not going to be very helpful. So it's kind of good to have this now, and it's.
The only reason I brought it up is that I'm very concerned about replenishing our stuff, our books, and that includes ebooks. And if you can't count them, how do you know what's out there? You know, that's, I guess.
You can count the books, and you can see what's circulating. You just don't know what's circulating at your specific library.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
if
the
you're not
other
worried
thing
about
is
it.
the way that we replenish the ebooks, at least for this part of the collection, is we're going to look at the holds and see which holds are the biggest and not getting filled, and those are the titles that we're going to be buying. So it's
Okay.
all going to be like popular things, and so it's going to be pretty simple to do that, take care of that. So.
All right.
Yeah. And then the programs coming up, as you know, Robopocalypse events start tomorrow night with Trevor Dodge from Clackamas Community College. And you must start watching. I will send you a link to a YouTube commercial as soon as I get it. Ingrid Aubrey and Linda Orson from the Friends created this really great, very funny, promotional public service announcement that's going to be on Willamette Falls TV. And it's for Robopocalypse events, and I think it's very cute. They got a ton of help from Willamette Falls. And so, like, Linda is a reporter, and she's interviewing me, and we talk all about what's going on at the library about these events. And then Ingrid's created this graphic art where there's, like, we're standing in front of the Carnegie because we filmed it in front of a green screen, and then they put that in, and then robots, like, come out.
Cool.
And we did voices and everything. And so it's really hysterical. And so I'll send you the link to YouTube. We'll put it on our website and stuff like that. It's very, very funny. So we got that going on, and we're just busy, busy, busy. So that's the monthly. And then I sent you the year-end report, which I've shared with staff. And then if you open up your brochure, your little library brochure.
Oh.
There's an insert. What we did is we just did this in the last day. We used the same information and created this insert so that new people coming to the library will get that, and then we'll create like a little bifold and use that same information but add some pictures to it so that patrons who wouldn't be picking up brochures would also get that. So I need to yet give it to the city commissioners, but it's a nice little summary of just kind of some hard data of what's been going on. One of the things actually is wrong. One of the friends pointed out to me, the very first thing that you see, the OC residents who have cards, those are service area residents who have cards. So our total service area is 54,853 according to the 2010 census. And of that number, the 20,000 figure that you see have library cards. So that's why it's 37%. If that was that figure out of Oregon City, it would be a higher percentage. So that's a little bit of an error right there. So I think I'm just going to keep these statistics kind of rolling in the future. I can do calendar year, fiscal year, calendar year, fiscal year, and then every 6 months I can kind of replenish those statistics and then kind of start comparing them as well. And it's just kind of interesting. We actually do quite a bit of business out of our small location.
This is fairly easy for you to collect all this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are out of the regular statistics that I always keep. It's just adding them up.
We don't want to bog you down.
Well, thank you very much. I have to tell you, staff really enjoyed seeing it. It really boosted their morale to see how much goes on in that building.
Oh, yeah.
It was,
good.
morale just went up right away. So that was really good. So annual statistics, year-end report, those two are kind of the same things. Budget review. Okay, so this is where Linda and I really want to spend some time talking about what we're proposing. And I first wanted to run some information by you. As I told you previously, our budget is going down. If you look on this colored sheet, this gives you the totals. Oregon City is about halfway down the list. This gives you the totals of what we collected in 10-11, the estimate for 11-12, because that's not quite done, and then the estimate for 12-13. And if you go across, you can see we were at $1,747,000. Then it went up to $1,790,000, and next year, it is going down. And the reason it is going down, if you look at these two sheets, I need a different brown one. Which one do you have? Yeah, one at the top says 2011-12, and one says 2012-13. And if you look at Oregon City, our population for our service area is going down by about 4,000. It was at 58,491, and now it is going to be 58,853. And where we are losing people, if you continue across, We are losing people in the unincorporated part of our service area. And because of our formula that we use, in city, we use AV, assessed values, to determine what we get. Out of city, we use population. And so we take a big hit when we lose that many people in our portion of the unincorporated. So you can see it went from 27,496 down to 22,858. That's a huge hit we just took. So that's $70,000 worth. And those people may have moved into the city, but because of the formula, you know, it's assessed value here. It's not quite the same head per head, you know. So it just makes a big difference. So knowing that, as we go into the budget year, what we had to do was we knew right off the top we needed to make cuts of $70,000 from last year. So on the first page,
We're on to this now.
yeah, now we're on to this. And the first page, the far right column is where I put my proposed figures. You can see that this is all blank on the first page. That because that's staff, and David Wimmer actually is going to figure that stuff out. There will be increases in that, and I can, you know, share that with you when I get it, but we don't have that stuff yet. He figures that all out, and then he sends it to us. We only get to really have input if you go to page 2, starting with line 310, office costs. That's where we get to start having input. And so the far right, again, the far right column is the proposed for 12-13. The one next to it is the 11-12 budget, so you can compare. So just to start going down, what we did was we started making cuts based on actual figures of expenditures that we have had this year and estimates of what totals will be for next year. So we're making some educated guesses, but it's based on, you know, figures for this year. So, for instance, go ahead.
So you're basing the cuts on the estimated final,
Yep.
not
Well,
the department request.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, but the estimated final in this is not up to date, okay? We have more recent information than that.
Okay.
So really, so let's just take postage is 1,000. We want to leave it at 1,000. We don't usually spend all of the 1,000, but next year we might need to send out some postcards or something, you know? So we're leaving it there. The next one, telephone. We, this year, we were able to finally get fiber from the fire station to the library, and that means that we are going to have a reduction of $600 a month for our phone bill.
Really?
Now we're still going to have to pay a phone bill, and
Yeah.
we're estimating that to be like $200. So there's a big reduction of like $400 a month in our phone bill. So we know that we can make a cut there.
What comes over the phone? This is all your data for your computers and stuff then, too?
Well, this is all of our just phone calls that we get,
our
phone- Really?
regular phone
phones.
calls. Yeah. So you may recall from DA and Fred, this is all new to you, but when we got our district money, when that started coming in, you know, we budgeted everything according to what we would need, but some things we've always kind of left really high, even after we moved into the Carnegie, because we figured, well, it's just going to roll over and we're going to save it. You know, we don't lose this. It doesn't go anywhere except into our own, you know, savings account if we don't spend it.
So there isn't a line item here. I was looking for what you were putting into savings.
Right.
Well, at the bottom, we may have an estimate. There was one from last year, but I won't have one for this year yet. So at any rate, it's just the bottom line budget, you know, and we can move money around within these accounts, and none of this money goes away. We get to keep it.
Okay.
So that's an important thing to know. So we kept things kind of inflated because we knew that we'd want to save things. So this is important when we get further down the road. So if you go to the next group of things, which is computer supplies, we kept that all pretty much where it's been because we tend to spend that stuff. The next group is newspaper and legal ads. Well, we didn't spend a lot on that this year, but next year we hope to send out some RFPs and stuff. And so there you go. That can go in a real hurry. The next group is miscellaneous costs. A lot of stuff ends up coming out of there. So we just want to keep it at $5,000. Equipment under $5,000. We propose to chop that from $15,000 down to $5,000. Now the $5,000 still includes 3 new computers, because we want to get 3 new computers every year, to keep them fresh, because we have a lot of staff computers. So 3 new computers and miscellaneous equipment. That still covers that. And let's see, where am I? 5,000, 5,000, and then technical services supplies. Yeah, this is one of those that we just had really high, but we just don't spend that much money out of it. We estimate we will spend like $4,000 to $4,500 this year. So we put that in as a realistic expense next year.
Processing?
Yeah, exactly.
Book covers.
Book covers.
Labels.
Yeah, labels, all that stuff. That's what that is. And then we added a line. Actually, we didn't add it back in, but we haven't used it since we moved from the Hilltop for leases, because the school district did just charge us $6,000 for our rental. I told you before they were going to charge us $500 a month. They finally presented us with the bill for the year. So we know that we need to pay them for a year's rent next year. So we added that in. Going on down, the building stuff looks, we only reduced it by $1,000 just because a building like Carnegie can take you by surprise. And we want to be well funded in that area. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to spend it, but again, it'll roll over if we don't spend it. Okay, training and travel on line 371, we kept at $5,000. Personal car use, that's driving to meetings and training and everything else, we kept the same. Physical exams, we just zeroed out. We never knew what the $200 was for anyway. And we asked in HR and they said that was fine. Contract services was at $5,000, and it's kind of weird where it says $5,000 and $125. We thought for sure it was $200,000 on that second line where it says $125. So we're going to have to get some bottom line figures from David Wimmer. This is not obviously a final budget.
What might constitute a technical contract?
Now this is saved for the building. This is money that is put aside specifically for building stuff. So like
Okay.
engineering, all that kind of stuff, so that we have a budget that as soon as we start, we can start paying
Thank
for
you.
things. And we already have $1.1 million set aside. So it could go towards property if we needed it to, whatever. But that also, let's say our property is $880,
Yeah.
some of the going prices of stuff we've seen out there.
Yeah.
We could pay for that property plus have some left over, and then we also have money set aside in this year's budget. And what this proves to me, DA and Fred, that what we also have wanted this to be set aside so that when it comes time to pay the bonds, we already know that we have enough money deducted that would go towards a bond payment in our regular budget. That's why this is kind of a deduction that I don't even want to think about having available to spend, because it's going to be needed in the future. Even if it's not needed now, it would be needed in the annual budget regularly in the future.
You couldn't have a line item in here for that? It has to be kind of disguised?
I'm not thinking it is disguised, because I'm thinking we'll probably have contracts that we're going to need to.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It was right here.
Yeah.
Now she's down talking about it.
So then we go down to the materials. Now this is
Now she's back up to.
where we've reduced. You can see last year we had $156,000, and this year we propose to spend $119,000, $222. As I said before, we kept those figures up, and we would want them to be up in a bigger building, but we know that they're more than we can spend in the building that we're in now, because we've not spent them. We have actual figures, and we're nowhere near spending this. So we know we can cut there, but it is a concern for the future where we need to get the budget back up. The thing that we did do is, from the book budget, we did reduce that by $30,000, but 10 of that we put into an ebook budget, which is a new line item. So,
What are you doing about, I should be pushing. Anyway, what are you doing about purchasing materials? Because everything you purchase, are you moving things constantly to your storage since?
yeah, I mean, it's a constant cycle of, stuff comes in and it goes to the new shelf or the Lucky Day collection. It stays there for a certain period of time. Then it's rotated to the regular shelf, and then it's rotated to the bookstore or to, the schools. We're helping the schools out too by giving them some of the stuff we can't use. Or eventually it goes to the recycler, I mean,
With your small collection you have right now, you're doing that? You aren't putting things into storage
We are
from
still
this
putting,
collection?
we are still putting some
You
things
are
into
still putting-
storage, yeah.
not a lot.
Yeah, but I was
Yeah.
just thinking, you don't have much room to be adding
No.
physical items.
I mean, it's the same problem every library gets to, no matter how big they are. You max out
Yeah.
on shelf space. We just maxed out on a lot earlier. So, I mean, yeah, we do a lot of shifting constantly. Yeah.
Oh, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, I'm hoping to get some feedback on the materials.
Actually, just so that I understand it, 2010, 2011, because I know the budgets aren't based on a physical year, they're based on a fiscal year.
Right.
So 2010, 2011, the books are closed on that, so we know all the figures on it.
Yeah.
2011, 2012, that's the budget we're in currently.
That's the budget we're in, and and we have, of course, half of a year's worth of
Right.
information.
And then 2012, 2013, that's what we're projecting out.
That's what we're projecting
Yeah.
out. Yeah, so that's what we're working on. And
So on the materials, did we really spend 80,000? Okay.
no, yeah, no. That column you're looking at, the one right next to the my draft stuff, that was our stuff we had budgeted for this year. It wasn't what we spent for this year. I mean, obviously, the year's not over, but
Okay.
we've never spent the $80,000.
But then next year we're still going to project 50,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think we will spend this
Well,
year?
last year, looking at this, we spent like 45 on books. So the 50 is actually giving us a little more.
Yeah, it's much more in the
With the space we
ballpark.
have, that's probably pretty accurate, close to that.
So, we're good for now. It's just, again, it's in the future. We're really going to have to look at some, if our budget goes down again, if we keep losing money in our service area, we're going to run into some problems. Our staffing model is going to have to be really seriously looked at, because we just can't sustain, not with the bond payment. That'll be the clincher. Okay? Yeah.
I think one exercise that we're going to have to spend a lot of, or the city's going to have to spend a lot of time on, is projecting what the cost will be for a new library, and actually staffing a 24,000 square foot library. And
Yeah.
because what we see, the first page, the cost for just employees, and that's something completely outside of your control.
Right. Well, it's
Or
out
a
of,
good portion is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't control the rises in the cost of what we have, but I can change what we have, and I
Yeah.
can change how we use things.
I assume the monthly costs, the monthly charge costs are probably, a good portion of that is health care and pension costs, which, that's really outside of.
Yeah, it's
of-
completely. I agree. It's
And
completely
those
outside.
will balloon as you add more staff.
Well, yeah, and Brian, honestly, I don't think we can add more staff. I don't think we can afford to.
And I think that's where it's, the budget process is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
In really trying to project how do you staff a 24,000 square foot library when, basically you've got $1 million in cost to run a 6,000 square foot library.
Well, the thing is, though, I don't think we're really going to end up, yes, it will be an interesting exercise, and I really want to do that in a detailed way. But I'm thinking that it won't be so different than what we have now, because as you know, now we have the circulation desk, we have the children's desk, we have the check-in, which is the staffing area, and the reference desk. I don't expect we're going to have more desks than that in a bigger library. It's just going to be further spread apart. Because those are really your basic service points that you would have.
Technical services, we won't have more materials coming in at that point?
Well, we can do some of that stuff differently, though. We can do pre-processing.
That's more.
Well, or we can have volunteers. I mean, we
Right.
can have
Just more
volunteers do a
volunteers.
lot of things. That's what I'm saying. We're going to have to really think about that, because I think we can do some things differently. If we go to RFID, that's supposed to save you, and I really want to find out more about RFID. That's supposed to save you a lot of staff time. Now, does it? Does that mean that only one person is in the check-in area instead of two at any one time? So
Really, that's the area you would need people more than anywhere. Check with a new library, much more popular, a lot more people coming, things coming and going.
yeah, you need. I think
technical
the whole
services.
circulation of materials is really important. But see, we could go to volunteer shelvers if we needed to. We could create, and I'm thinking a lot about the volunteer aspect of the library and how we haven't really done that. And it's time to build up the volunteer nation for the Oregon City Library, because I think we're going to need them.
I was impressed on some of our tours in the back rooms of these libraries. They have huge bulletin boards of their volunteers, and it's a legion they have
Yeah.
in some of those places.
And most libraries do have
Yeah.
huge. They just have to.
Yeah, it's the only way we can keep the cost down nowadays.
Well, and it actually it creates a lot of goodwill in the community,
It does.
because
It's great
people love to
goodwill.
volunteer. Every time I have to turn somebody down, I'm just thinking, this is bad. It's not bad for them, it's bad for us, because then they think, like your wife, right?
Yes.
That we don't want them. That's
Yeah.
so not true. So I'm really rethinking all that, But anyway, so Brian, do you have more monetary questions though?
I know there have been studies benchmarking operating costs of libraries in square footage. And the only reason I know that is the Oregonian talked about Multnomah County. And I think that'd be very interesting to look at what are other 24,000 square foot libraries, what are the operating costs per square foot? So that we don't get into a situation where, we think we can operate it, and I'll just pull a number out of the air, $100 a square foot.
Right.
When in reality, most libraries, the vast majority are at 200.
Now, Matt has given us projected costs, but I'm not sure that they're compared to other libraries per se, so I can look into that. Because he's telling me how much I need per year also.
And that would probably just be on for the utilities, for the cost of the building. What I'm talking about is, a fully staffed.
Staffing.
Yeah.
All the costs included.
Yeah,
And-
you're right, he's doing building, yeah. Okay.
And that way, it would just allow us to understand what the limitations are, and make sure that we've got all the numbers projected, so that we can feel good as we sell the process here.
Yeah.
Are other libraries likely to share that information with you?
Well, I think it's out there and available, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, if it was in the Oregonian, then it must be
Right.
somewhere. Yeah.
It's all public record, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah, everything we do is a public record. Just getting the public record to match up with what you need is the hard part, the kind of figures that you want. Sometimes you have to manipulate it yourself.
And Mo, just ask another question about
Yeah.
the materials. As we move from a 6,000, a lot of our books are in storage, but a lot of the books are probably ready to be thrown away too. I mean,
We're doing that right now, by
Yeah,
the way.
So as we move to a larger library, is there going to be a ramp up that we're anticipating where we're going to spend in a perfect world $250,000 on new materials just to fill out that new library?
Well, you don't want to fill it, because you want to leave some space to fill in.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't take that long before you do. But definitely, we want to have beautiful, shiny new materials for the, for our patrons so they can come in here and it's all, and maybe not every single book, but like that it looks like, the books that are on the shelf deserve the beautiful building that they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if we should be projecting those costs. So, and obviously this wouldn't be for 2012, 2013.
Yeah, no, absolutely. At some point, we definitely will need to do that. And I mean, there's people out there that they can help you with that. They have things called opening day collections. We could, get a vendor in here and really ramp it up. We could do it ourselves. We could do that a number of ways, but we're going to have to put some money into that, definitely. I don't know if it's going to be $250,000, but
Well, then my guess would be the other area too would be the computer and tech piece in terms of the plan of using the same computers or going with the 3 replacement per year or starting afresh in the new building with this is.
yeah, we're going to have to make a decision about that. But I mean, like if you open a new computer lab, then you want like nice new computers in your computer
Yeah.
lab. So yeah, I
The
mean
consistency.
that's and some of that, yeah. I mean, it's just going to be above and beyond what we've already figured out because Matt has been thinking about it. And I've added some, even like the RFID, that has to be added in. So yep, lots to think about. So let's see here. We cut money down in the next kind of group is programming. We cut money from there, and I do want to let you know that we can ask the Friends of the Library for programming funds. They're always asking us for ideas of how they can support us, and this is one of their loves of programming. And as well, I'm going to go ask the Optimist for some money because we're starting this great new collaboration with the school district for the summer reading program. And I just thought, you know what? I just bet the Optimist would love to hear about this. And sure enough, I got invited to their February 28th meeting with the school district person. I said, you really want to hear from both of us, and you really want to hear from her. She's so enthusiastic and so crazy about collaborating with us. You will really get enthused. So we're going to go do that, and I think that they in the past have been good for $1,000 annually. So I think we can get some out of them too. So that'll help with that. And then down there under the replace equipment, replace infrastructure, that's another, and then the one below that, the new equipment, that's another one of those like hold money aside for equipment when we need it. Not, I kind of just stuck, this is kind of one of those placeholders that maybe could be renamed on, but this is a bottom line budget. If we need to spend it, we can spend it out of any line item.
I'm glad to see the zeros there. That's good.
Yeah, behind the 150 and the 50s. So, and then the very last one is the legal. And, we have run into some legal costs along the way. So we just wanted to make really sure that we would have money for bond counsel or wherever it came up. Because when it comes up, it goes up really fast. We had to have legal counsel just even review our behavior policy just to make sure,
Which raises the question, do we have to have counsel for we have to have a vote of the people, right?
For the bond.
Yes.
Bond counsel will definitely be involved in that whole thing.
And that's going to cost us?
Yep.
Okay.
As far as I know, it will.
Well,
So I don't know how much, but
In the line item, you have general fund / legal. And the legal makes sense. What's the...
I don't know. That's not. I don't name these things. I try to rename them if I
And
can.
the only reason I point that out is Canby.
Oh yeah.
I know they, and I don't know if that's ever been resolved, but they were trying to grab as much money as they could from the library.
Yeah. Boy, let me
And I
tell
think
you,
you have to be
that's been
careful
an
about
interesting thing. I've been keeping David Frazier informed every step of the way on that, because I think that they will try to institute a system of charging back and doing some allocations, but hopefully it won't be a formula like that as in Canby, where they get about $750,000 from the district, and Canby City is charging them about $240,000 of that for costs that the city says is owed to them. Yes.
Esticator went through that about 5 years ago when they built the library also. They were charging back. You might want to check into what the result there was.
there's some other news from Esticated, too, more recent.
Oh, okay.
We talk about it sometime, but
Okay.
it's not good.
So that is the draft budget at this point in time, and we've accounted for the rent of $6,000, and we've accounted for the $70,000. However, depending on what the staff costs come back at, we may have to do a little bit more digging. But this has to be submitted in draft form by February 21st, but then the hearings are not all the way until like
In April,
April, I think.
early April.
Yeah, April 18th or something like that. And so I can keep you appraised along the way.
What is our role specifically on this? Just
Well,
look at
according
stuff
to the
and-
bylaws, your role is to review and help present the budget. But, you know, last year, when I showed you this, it was already after I had submitted it, but
Yeah.
before it had gone before anybody.
Okay.
But you guys were not happy with me. So this year, I am submitting it to you before David Wimmer has ever seen anything. Now's your chance, but from here on out is your chance. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this just opens the book. So now you've got the figures, and you can like let me know what you think about anything, and I'll let you know if something changes. So,
Well, I have a kind of a bottom line question here. It's a $2.5 million budget for 2011, 2012.
no, it's not that high.
Well, that's what it's saying here, 2,498.
No, that, I'm sorry, that's not what you think it is. Because, well,
And there
But
we
I
go.
guess my
that,
bottom
okay,
line
that
question
is, yeah, that's rollover money is included in that figure from the year before.
is that what?
Yeah, so no, our budget is $1,720,000 from the district, plus $205,000 from the general fund from the city, which
Okay.
goes directly into a capital account for the
Okay.
future of the library, for the future building. So our budget is somewhat less than $2 million total. So that, and yeah, that figure includes some rollover from a previous year.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just curious, how many full-time employees are there and how many regular part-time?
Oh, goodness.
Sorry.
Yeah, we have something like 13 FTE, and but we
13
have
FTE?
yeah, we're supposed to have like 18 FTE.
Okay.
We have about 20 employees, but that includes part-time, and that includes regular on-call. And we have like, how many full-time?
We only have, let's see, actually 40 hours, 1, 2, 3, 5 counting us.
So 5 FTE?
That's, yeah, a full-time.
5 actual full-time employees.
We have like,
And then we have a couple that are, we have 1, 2, 3 that are between 30 hours and 40 hours.
Okay.
And then the rest are all
Under
under
20.
20.
And you said a total of 20 employees?
yeah,
Like
about
around 12.
13 FTE, yeah.
12.
But the budget's 285,000 for part-time and only 60,000 for full-time. So you have quite a large range of part-time? You have, I mean, do you have a lot?
Oh, I see
A
what
really
you're
big
saying.
bag of
Yeah,
part-time people?
Yeah. we
Yeah.
have- And they range from the clerks who are the shelvers and the pick list people up through the library assistants that are on call part-time. And they could, they could work anywhere from maybe 10 hours a week up to like 18.
How do you find people to do that?
There are so many, you wouldn't
There's a
believe it.
lot of
right?
people that
Yeah.
work in
Full
several
library.
libraries.
Yeah, and they work in like more than one library and,
Oh,
yeah. So, and this, on the, the management, Linda and I are at the top.
Right.
And then the other full-time employees are in that 160.
Right.
And then everybody else. So that's actually, regular part-time people include the people who are less than 40 hours a week.
Right.
Just anybody, yeah. We go round and round with HR because we call part-time one thing and they call it another, and we get all confused with each other, but anyway, that's what that is.
and are these people who would be likely to if you were to increase staff in a new library building, are these the people that would start to become 40-hour people, or are these really always temporary?
I think we're always going to have a lot of less than 20-hour week people. Actually, there are people that really prefer to do that.
I can see a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are a lot of good reasons, yeah.
And then what kind of relationship do they have to, all the extras, the pension and the health
They
care?
have no relationship to it.
Okay.
See you later, Fred.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
only the
so
people that are over 20
I
hours.
understand that's a good budget.
Well, it really
Position
helps
to be
cut
in.
down on expenses.
Right.
Yeah, so we really have to, anything above 20, you start getting into that, even if it's just partial, you get into that. And so we really have to be consider very hard before we hire a position for more than 20 hours a week. And of course, it's a position, not a person. And so if any of those people, if we ever changed any, and those people would have to apply for it. We wouldn't just turn somebody into.
I see.
Yeah.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, we did that once. Was it last year already? Jenny?
Yes.
Jenny's
2
position?
years, almost 2 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and then we added, we added a position of the technical liaison. Oh my God, worth the weight in gold. Because, we have IT here at the city, we have IT from the network office, we have mega computers breaking and working all day long. And this person that filled that position, definitely, this is gold position. Yeah, it's really worth it. And by the way, just so you know, they did replace Joanna Root as the network manager. They just hired somebody from Fort Vancouver Regional Library, which I'm very excited about because that, just went through their massive building and RFIDing of everything of that. And his name is Quang Kai, and he starts at the end of February. So I've not met him yet, but I'm very excited about that because that's been a long time coming.
Where will he be?
He'll be in the network office, which right now is in Oak Grove.
Yeah, okay.
Mo, can I sort of go back real quick
Yeah.
to the population served?
Yes.
You always want to look at the trends, and obviously the district is relatively new. Was there a certain population that was carved out? Is that why we lost population, or is this? What was the explanation as to why the population?
I don't know,
decreased?
and I could try and find out more from the county finance people who did this whole analysis, but they didn't change. This is just our traditional service area, the same one we've had for a long time, and for whatever reason, 4,000 people approximately. I mean, a bunch of people, more than that, out of the unincorporated area moved. Now,
It's hard to understand that because
Yeah.
I know there are not 4,000 vacant houses out there.
Right.
Yeah. And they're
Yeah.
building new houses.
Yeah, they're
out
building
there,
new
too.
houses, yes.
So let me follow up on that.
Because I think the important question there is there a trend that we can anticipate, expect? Because if the trend might be down a little bit and then stabilization and then starting to move back up, you at least have an understanding of your inflation costs are probably 2%, 3%, 4% per
Right.
year, if not a
Right.
little higher.
Yeah.
And if your income only rises trends 1% to 2%, then that you really have to budget for that. Otherwise, within 5-6 years, within a short period, you can
Yep.
find your belly up.
Yep.
So I think that would be important to understand why and get an understanding of, are there any projections on trending?
Okay. Well, I know just the person for that. They have some very good people at the county in finance, and they're more than happy to do whatever we need. So.
All right, let's move on to our Friends of Oregon City report and Library Foundation report.
Did we need to approve the budget? No? Okay.
Well, it's still in draft form.
Okay.
I did it.
So that's our brochure, and in that brochure is a membership application, and we'd like to encourage all of you to be a member of the Friends at whatever level you are comfortable with. And so we just had The Friends just had their meeting right before you came. We weren't even quite finished. It's quite a meeting. And Linda Orzen went to the CIC, the Community Involvement Council, on Monday and invited them to be friends.
She was very well received, by the way.
Yes, that's what I asked a couple different sources. One was Linda. She said she was well received. And on February 15th, that Linda's going to give the annual report to the City Commission, and so hopefully some people can go and support her. And one of the things that she's going to be saying is how many thousands of volunteer hours between the bookstore and the farmers market and the couple volunteers at the library that we have. And it's well over 4,000 volunteer hours in total, totaling well more than $76,000 in the Points of Light discussion of how much they value that. And Harriet made a report today that there were 1,099.5 volunteer hours in the months of November, December, January. And she's going to be scheduling some meetings for the volunteers to go over new procedures, and so everyone's all on the same procedure. And this is the time of year, though, that we also schedule staff and volunteer appreciation, so we're taking care of those things right now. And while I'm here, I think I'll tell you a little bit about the foundation, though I know Claire and Brian know. We met in January and we're scheduled to meet in February. We're moving along towards working on subcommittees to get moving so that we are ready when you are ready and the city's ready. And in the meantime, Harriet and I are going to go to a workshop at the end of February about new members on nonprofit boards. And so we're going to learn a little bit about that. So, How about some questions?
Brochure
That'll
looks
be
great.
easier.
The brochure looks great.
Yeah, that
Really
looks
nice.
wonderful. Who designed that?
I think it must be Ingrid.
She designs everything, doesn't she?
It's really nice.
She does a good job.
An awful lot of information, but it seems clear.
And you did get my email on the foundation support person that might...
Did?
Yeah, good.
I did. I sent an email back.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but that's right.
Yeah, to everyone, because we've already contacted somebody else
Good.
about to help us out a little bit.
Sure.
And Harriet and I know Karen
Yeah,
from
okay.
being on the library board before.
This is the former foundation director at Clackamas Community College who's retiring. I buttonholed her at an event and said, we have more work for you. But if you want to...
And we probably, but since we already contacted the other person,
Sure, I
we
understand.
want to at least deal with her a little bit and see
Didn't know
how
that,
much she
but
wants to
I
give
just
us.
keep sending them your way, and you can pick and choose. How's that?
Oh, we're going to choose them all. Of course.
Thank you very
for
much,
letting me
Linda.
come.
Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Karen had served on the library board before, and she also worked on some of the campaigns.
Yeah, great. New business? Or anything that happened to library people that they want to talk to about? Okay. Our next regular meeting will be March 14th, same time and place. Hearing no other formal business, I will now call the Oregon City Library Board into executive session.
Hang on a minute.
Okay.
We have to get
Pausing.
ready.